Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to episode 38 of the Alchemy Devlog. It's your pal Isaac here with the latest news from the development team. In this episode, we're going to talk about themes a lot. We've got quite a few new fields in themes to help make your games and universes pop. We've also got some reliability updates I'm excited to talk about, and we're putting the finishing touches on Vampire the Masquerade. Beyond that, I'm going to talk a little bit about streamer mode and system builder stuff, and about where we're headed next, as well as answer some of your questions that have come in since last time in our Q&A segment towards the end of the video. We also have a couple of exciting new partner announcements that I'm going to show off at the end of the video as well. So let's dive in. First up, let's take a look at the new theme fields. I'm going to head over to not my library, but my content universes, and I'm going to create a new universe. I call it Devlog 38. We'll stick with 5th edition. That's fine. Up here in the top, I'll jump over to the system settings for my universe and go to the theme. So in the theme tab, I'm going to start us off with a nice theme from Mutant Year Zero to give us a good baseline to work with, and jump through a few of the new things. So first off, I'm going to add a color. Go with a nice bright green. And scroll down a little bit to the game experience. One of the new things is the ability to highlight successful rolls and criticals using whatever color you select here. So I'm going to go with that very green that I had selected, or that I had created up above. You can also select from some of our default colors, just like you can select on like the tactical mode for tokens. You can select different colors for their borders. This is kind of the same idea. You can select from your theme colors as well as some defaults that we give you, or type in a custom color. So if you wanted to have a totally custom color in there, not that, that's just me typing wrong, you could do that. So for our failure color, we could just pick purple here, or we could type in something custom. We'll go with purple. That's cool. This will be a really beautiful theme by the time I'm done with it. I'll show you how those work in a game here in a minute, but let's take a look at the rest of the new theme fields. So down here on our headings under the fonts section, we can customize our tab bars to use different text casing. The new one this time around is small caps. You can do that on tab bars. You can also do that on first level and second level headings, which are also new. So if you take a look at the first level headings section here, this is a first level heading, the fonts. If I change this from uppercase to small caps, you can see what that looks like. Nice little dynamic preview of what small caps shows up as. And then we'll configure our second level headings. This is new this week. We'll give these a font size of like 16 pixels. Letter spacing will go a little tighter at 1 pixel. And then for our text casing, we'll use that brand new small caps. Let's jump out of our system settings and go to the articles and create a new article. Devlog 38. And I'm going to go ahead and try out all our new headings. So when I'm out of edit mode, you can see here that I've got the small caps going on for these headings. And the H2 is nice and configurable now, instead of it being falling back to our sort of default sans serif font. You can now customize that. The H1 and H2 headings show up in the game experience as well. So it's not just a change to articles. So with that in mind, let's jump out to create a new game. We'll keep it on 5th edition, and Devlog 38 is the name. And let's jump into edit our game, go to the content tab. I could have done this when I was setting up the game, but I failed to do that. And we'll turn on that Devlog 38 universe, go to our game tab, and select the Devlog 38 theme we had created. Now we've got those nice bright orange colors and that kind of almost a Star Trek Next Gen style font here for our game. Very cool. So if you notice the headings in different places, this is an example of an H2, a second level heading showing up in the game experience. And of course, in the story panel, you can have Markdown in here. So this is kind of our default help you get started story information here, but it has headings all in here. You can see some second level headings and first level headings in here. The other place it changes is in notes. A note. So these are H2s here, and they also have a nice dividing line. That's new in this episode. Prior to this, we did not have any sort of dividing lines in notes. So very exciting. Over here in the actions, I'm going to go ahead and create a couple different actions to show off the new dice colors. The easiest way to do this is with dice pools, which aren't used terribly often in a game like 5th edition, but here we are. Let's set this up to be like 4d6. And we'll call successes low numbers, 1, 2, and 3, and failures high numbers, 4, 5, and 6. And I didn't give it a name, but that's okay. Roll our dice pool. And wow, we got 4 failures with that nice bright purple color. Let's roll it again to see if we can get some successes mixed in. There we go. So 2 successes, those green colors that I had defined, and 2 failures, the purple color. These will also show up for crits on, like a more 5th edition thing, like an action, or an attack action rather. We'll make this crit at 10. We'll just call it punch. We'll do 1d4, not 14d4. 1d4. And let's get our punch out there. So that was not a crit, being a 9. We'll roll it again, and this is a crit. So we've got that nice green highlight color for our crit here. If you're looking closely, you may also notice that the default dice now show the accent font from your theme as well. So no longer is it the serif font that we used before. It's now going to pull that from your theme and show that in the animated thing. So you don't have to create custom dice faces anymore just to get the font in there. You can just use your accent font by default, and that shows up in the details modal as well. So I think that's everything that's new for themes this week. Let's jump on out and talk about something a little bit different. So as someone running a live service platform, this is the type of graph you never want to see. It's filled with errors from our load balancer, and it is just not what you want to be looking at on a Friday night. But that's where I found myself last Friday. We had some serious problems with our load balancer that were causing some unreliability throughout the Alchemy platform. Just a lot of places, anywhere you could be interacting with our backend infrastructure, there was a chance for that to fail, and you would see an error like something went wrong, status code 502, or unable to load token, status code 502, or just something went wrong, or even worse, nothing at all, but something was broken and your data didn't load, things like that. So as of Wednesday of this week, you can see from this graph that we have completely resolved that, and we're no longer encountering many thousands of these errors happening. So very excited to have that one behind us. And if you've ever run into this error or just had things not working quite right over the last few weeks, things are better now, and I couldn't be happier. All right, what's next for us? We are hard at work on, this is old. There we go. We are hard at work on a couple exciting things. First up, Vampire the Masquerade. No surprise there. We are working very, very hard on getting that game live for you all. We have the finishing touches being kind of wrapped up on that now, and then we're going to be reviewing it next week with Paradox. And as long as we get the all clear from them, we should be getting that out into backers' hands very soon after that. And then we'll be kind of iterating on it before it goes live on our marketplace. But we're making big progress there, but I don't have anything to show just yet because we have to keep that kind of under wraps. Next up, streamer mode. That's one that I've been working on a lot. I got some infrastructure updates out for that to make streamer mode flow a little bit better through our system. So as kind of a reminder of what that looks like, I'll go back into our Devlog 38 game. I can click in here, and on this build, I have access to streamer mode. So I can click this button. By the way, this will probably be moving into this kind of side rail here. But for right now in this kind of test build that I have running, it's down here in the gear menu. But clicking on that streamer mode button will launch streamer mode in a new tab. And I could pull this tab off of my browser and share it to OBS, or, Chromecast it to a TV, or whatever it is I want to do with this different view. And this is just a simplified view of the game. Next up for this, I'm going to be displaying the party cameras on here, and we're going to have a couple different layouts for cameras. So I'm really excited to kind of get some of those in place and ship a beta of the streamer mode features and start iterating on different layouts and making things a little bit more exciting for streamer mode. But right now, we've got a different layout and the ability to show the stream overlay on this. We're also hard at work on System Builder. So we invited a bunch of you to the System Builder beta a couple of weeks ago. Thank you all for the overwhelming response there. We got tons and tons of signups for that. We haven't invited anyone yet, but we do have many people on the list. So if you're one of those people and you're wondering, where's my invite? It's coming soon. We just have a few more things that we need to sort out on our end before that's really viable outside of Alchemy staff. There's some things that we do when we're setting up a new system that we don't have support for from the front end yet. So we're working on wrapping up those last few pieces right now, and we should have some updates for at least a handful of folks, I think, in the next week. Well, with the holiday coming up next week, it'll probably be the week after, but we're getting very close to being able to roll that one out. And I'm very excited to start seeing what you all build with it. All right, let's jump over to some Q&A. First up, we've got a question from Winter, Troll Lord Games. Have you reached out to Troll Lord Games to add castles and crusades / amazing adventures support on Alchemy? I know that we have been talking about the potential of this on the Alchemy Discord. So no, we haven't talked to Troll Lord. And if you'd like to see Troll Lord stuff on Alchemy, it would be pretty cool if you all could go out and kind of make some noise, let them know you want to see their stuff on Alchemy. Hit them up on whatever social networks they're available on, or email them on their website, or whatever ways we can get the word out there. That's kind of the most effective way to get a new title or a new publisher onto Alchemy, is to show that there's some demand out there. So make some noise, and we'll see what we can do to make it happen. All right, next one is from Dayman. Hey, Dayman. Sheets per class and HTML integration. So first, I know System Builder isn't out the door, and I already have a request. Probably won't get a beta invite now. That's not true. And we'll find you. We'll get you an invite. You're on the list. One thing I have noticed from the devlog is there isn't a way to assign this character sheet to a class or classes. Actually, with classes, it would be great to have a method to define classes with an article like builder that has each level separated. When you go to level 1, you see the level 1 section that says you start with X hit points, this equipment, etc. I think just mirroring what is done in articles would be great and would allow us to define a step-by-step how to build a character, and with System Builder assign specific character sheets to those classes. So yeah, we have a little bit of this going on now with some recent changes. You can have character sheets that are specific to owning a specific module. So if there's a module within a universe that has different character sheets or different character options, we now have the ability to separate things out like that. But you can definitely define a character sheet per class if you wanted to. And then when you jump into a game, you'll be able to click create character and have a drop down that shows you like the rogue character sheet and the fighter character sheet and whatever. Tying those together right now to your class selections isn't really something we have support for, but that's definitely an interesting idea that we'll bring in to our design sessions. Second, developers' favorite request, third-party HTML integration. I would love some way to bring items like Fantasy Calendar into Alchemy articles. This is obviously super easy and not at all a security risk. This is sarcasm. But you guys are awesome. The goal is to embed scripts and targets for those scripts to inject things like calendars, forums, etc. This would allow us to sell the articles to our players and get them to stay in one place, even if Alchemy is missing some features. I definitely would have some security concerns opening up just kind of general third-party HTML and JavaScript integration into articles. It opens up a kind of can of worms as far as our security posture is concerned. But I would say that some of these things are good feature requests, not only for us to build new features, things like calendars would be very cool, although that is a very big project, but maybe some integrations with things like we provide, a way to integrate that using Markdown and using kind of something on Rails that gives us the ability to drop that stuff in, or rather gives you the ability to drop that stuff in without having to, drop an iframe in or have any scripts that get pulled in. So I would say the chances of just whatever you want HTML integration is pretty slim, but individual kind of plugins, I think, pretty high chance. So keep your feature requests coming on those. Send them in through the feedback form, and we'll collect all of these things and see what sort of things we want to build in and how far we want to go with that. But definitely not off the table. All right, next up, Universe Organization. Future Revolutions asks, I don't know if someone else has asked for this or if it was intentional, but for universes, can we have the option to organize them, preferably alphabetically? By most recently altered would be great too. Yeah, so we've definitely heard about this. We need it ourselves. We've got to have it. I think we're going to give you a lot of flexibility here in how your universes show up, let you sort them alphabetically, last purchased, last updated, things like that. Definitely, we need to roll out some organization options there for universes to make sure you can get to that stuff. As people get more and more content, this becomes more important. So definitely top of mind for us in terms of that universe tab. Okay, to close us out, this episode, we've got a question from Lunar about hidden NPC descriptions. Hello, I would like to know if you plan to add 2 types of descriptions for NPCs or anything. One that we can allow on public description and the other to be kept for the DM. Right now, if I do it correctly, I can only one or the other so that it can be tedious to keep track. I can only enable one or the other so that it can be tedious to keep track of information given to my players. Thanks a lot for Alchemy. You're welcome. Thanks for using Alchemy, first of all. So we haven't really put much thought into having descriptions specifically be kind of hidden for the GM versus players, but I do like that idea. I think we've talked about a few options for different things being visible only to the GM, but you're right that the description is one that you kind of can make public or keep private. So I think maybe as a workaround right now, you might be able to find a different field to put that stuff in for your own use as a GM, but I think long-term, there are some things that we want to do, I think even within Markdown, to make some things hidden to players. I think that would be a cool way to do this with description specifically. You could just have the same kind of description with parts of it kind of fenced off for the GM. But yeah, I think my answer for right now on this is we are thinking about that stuff, and it's good to hear that this would be a one way you would want to use that. So we'll definitely bring that into our planning sessions and our design around this sort of stuff. So thanks for that question. All right, that is it for the bulk of this episode. I'm going to give you a couple rapid fire announcements here at the end to close this thing out. We have some exciting new partners to announce. Coming in hot, we've got our Talsorian with the Cyberpunk Red system and many books related to Cyberpunk Red. We just got them on board recently this last week. Very excited to get some Cyberpunk all up in Alchemy. We've got Mongoose on board with things like Paranoia and Traveler coming your way sometime in the future. Very excited to get those out there. And MCDM, we're hard at work on MCDM's 5e content. We've got many of those books and those stat blocks for 5e games just about ready to go. So keep your eyes peeled for some great MCDM content coming at you soon. So that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Head on down below, hit the like button, subscribe for future updates, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Let's go play some games.